welcome to Amethyst Star Crafting. My name is Jane Ormark and I'm a UK independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. And today we are looking at Floral Essence again. This stamp set is available from June the 3rd with the new annual catalogue. And it is absolutely lovely. It's got some beautiful sentiments, some lovely flowers, some leaves, there's so much you can do with this. And the nice thing is that it comes with a coordinating punch for this one, which is called the Perennial Flower. And you can see it's got 3 little leaves, the bit in the centre, absolutely lovely punch. And also, if you've already got or haven't got the leaf image here, coordinates with our leaf punch, which is available now and obviously is carrying through into the new annual catalogue. So we are going to be looking at 2 punches today and the stamp set Floral Essence. So it is the Perennial Flower punch, and if you buy both of these 2 together in the new annual catalogue, you'll get a 10% discount, so that's always good as well. So let's have a look at this. This flower is absolutely lovely because you've got these sort of little line details on, and I thought I'd show you a way of doing it so that it really stands out. There's lots of ways that you can do it, but this is something that I think works on everything if you're using a coordinating coloured cardstock. So I've chosen Gorgeous Grape. As you know, purples are my absolute favourite, and I've just mounted it on a block. We are going to use 2 ink pads. So we're going to use the Whisper White, which is the craft ink. It does take a little while to dry, so you need to be aware of that. So what I would do is to stamp this and then leave it for probably, I don't know, an hour or so. But it is, if you don't leave it for a while, it will smudge, because craft ink just takes a lot longer to dry. So we're going to ink it up first of all in the Gorgeous Grape, and we are going to stamp 1 just down on here. This is where I use all my scraps, so I don't waste anything. This is going to be a matte, but I'm just using it like that. So we've got it 1 that way, and I'm only doing it like this so that, as I say, I can use the matte. So we'll have another one down on here like that, because you need 2 to really do it properly. So that's it, stamped in the Gorgeous Grape. Now, if you cut that, punch that out, it will look absolutely lovely. But I want a little bit of extra definition on there. So let's get my Simply Chamois and give that a good clean. The dark colours you need to get off fairly quickly, but as you can see, absolutely beautifully clean. And then we are going to take the craft ink, and we are going to do exactly the same. So we're going to ink it up in the craft ink, which is white. And then we are going to just go over it. So you don't want it to be lined up completely, but let's take it over like that. You can see how you've got the dark definition and you've got the light definition coming through. Whoops, need to do it with the craft ink again. Now you can obviously do it with the VersaFine, says me, completely brain fade with what I was going to say. You can do it with the VersaFine and then do it with clear, with white embossing powder. But this is a very quick and easy way to do it. So what you do need to remember to do is to clean that ink pad off, the stamp off fairly quickly. So I'm just going to give that a good clean, because being white, and I'm moving that out of the way because I don't want to smudge it. Being white, you do need to make sure, or the craft ink, you do need to make sure that you give it a nice good clean. But as I say, the Simply Chamois is lovely because you can clean that up straight away and you are then left with no residue whatsoever on there. Okay, so that gives you, let me show you, that gives you, let me just bring that up a little bit so you can see it a little bit clearer. You can see how you get that lovely sort of two-tone running in there. And again, on that one, you've got the two-tone. It will be slightly different with each one, depending how much sort of colour and how much you overlap. But you then need to put that out of the way to dry. So what I have done is I've already done a couple that have had a chance to dry. So let's get those out. And you can see you have that lovely definition in there. So we're going to put them like this. Now, the centre. In the new catalogue, there are some lovely little sort of yellow fuzzy centres that will go perfectly in there if you want a yellow centre. I wanted this to be tone on tone. So what I'm going to do is I am going to take, again, with this one on here, because I can use that. Now, we've had lots of different punches over the years. I have this tiny little circle punch. It came in a set of 3, and I can't even remember. It came with some other little sort of flowery ones, but it's perfect size. You can fussy cut it out. You can find a little die or a little punch that will punch out the centre. Entirely up to you. But I wanted it to be a tone on tone. So let's get this little centre one out, and we can use our smallest block. Now, what I want to do is to make sure that before I take it out of this cardstock, because I want to use it, okay, it needs to be about there. So that's fine. As long as it's up there, it will work. So let's get the gorgeous grape out again. And ink that up. It's a lovely centre. I really like this one. And so we're going to put it down there. I'm going to do 2 so I can have one for later on. So again, we want it tone on tone, and I'll put another one in like that. Okay, so as I say, you can fussy cut it round, but if you're somebody that has been with Stampin' Up a little while like myself, you will probably have a little tiny punch that will fit it, or one of the tiny circle dies or something like that. Just sort of go and have a look and see. I just find it easier to do it that way. So I am just literally going to take it in on there and punch it out. So we've got one, and then I'm going to take the other one and punch it out, because you can get a little bit more height if you want to. Okay, so those are those. All right, so this again, once I've punched this out, this will actually still be my mat. Whenever I cut my mat, I always use as much as I can out of it, because it's not going to show once you've got your card over the top of it. So just a little tip for you. Right, so we now have these 2 beautiful flowers on there with that sort of white piece. So I'm just going to use some wet glue on this, because I don't want any extra dimension and height. In fact, this one is an empty one. Bear with me a second while I get my new one out, because I actually had it for class, and I've still got it in my my craft bag, which is the lovely Stampin' Up craft bag, which I have and I take everywhere to my classes. So let's just we're going to have a little piece in on here. Make sure the top's out. It's been a little bit warm. So just a little bit of wet glue on here. I use wet glue, as you know. It's my favourite, only because I like to have that little bit of what they call wiggle room. So we need to make sure that this is going to come across one side on the other like this. Okay, whoops, and it will wiggle a little bit, but we can then put it in like that. And just wait for a second for it to take. But then, as I say, you've got a lovely flower. Now this flower is very flat, so I have a wooden skewer. bone folder you can use, but I like to use something which is a little bit smaller on this sort of side. And if you take one of the petals and literally just sort of roll it round there, you can get the curve that you want. So if you want to curve up, you can have a curve up. So we'll have a few with a curve up. As I say, use something that is easy to curl through, because you want to take it to the curl of the actual flower, and you're just bending the fibre, and you can do it quite easily with that. So we've got 3 up. Let's have the other ones going down just as a bit of interest. So just sort of bend it through like that. Bend that one through like that. And as I say, I quite like doing it with something smaller like this, because you can sort of get the tips and manipulate them up a bit. Take that one down. So as I say, you can do it downwards or you can do it upwards, so you have it sort of like that if you want it down or up. This one I'm going to have flat on the card, so I am going to take these ones down, but once you've manipulated it one way, it's very easy to just curl it round on the other way. And as I say, with these little tiny, with this wooden skewer, it's actually quite good, because you can get right up to the tip of it to give it a bit of a bend out. Okay, so we now have it like that, so it's got just a little bit more of a bend, and you can put some more on there. So now we're going to add these little centres, and this one I've done obviously tone on tone, and so it'll give a nice sort of dark centre on it. And again, you could put it up with a dimensional. In fact, I'm going to do it with one of our small dimensionals on this, to just give it a little bit of extra height in the centre. So mini dimensional, pop that in the centre like that, and then we can put that in the centre where we want it. Like that. So you've got that really nice sort of sticking up in the centre like that. Now, to put it onto a card, let me show you what I have got. Now, I was going to show you as well, quickly before I do that, the lovely leaf one as well. So here's a piece of old olive, and let's get that leaf out. I really like all of the fact that all of our sets, you can just do so much with it. So you can do sort of 3Ds like this, or you can just do them completely flat. It's entirely up to you. Is that going to fit on there? Just yes. Okay, so old olive, ink that up, and I'm just going to put it on down on there. So you have a nice sort of tone on tone, and another one on there like that. I'm not going to do that with the white, because I don't think you need it, because it's sort of solid round there. It's not going to give those when you use your craft ink, also the white ink, you need to use it where there is more definition, because this is solid. You'll just get a solid white piece or a solid green piece. You're not going to get that definition. Right, so let's just pop this one in here. I'm just going to do 2 leaves, I think. Don't think I want any more than that. So line it up with the leaf punch, and you can see it fits perfectly. So it's nice that you can use 2 things. There we go. Let's do that one on there. Oh, it's not quite straight. It's always difficult to get things straight on camera, isn't it? You sit and wiggle around with it for a little while. Right, there we go, that's better. Okay, so we've now got those bits out. So we've used both of the punches on this one and this lovely centre. So for a card, let me show you what I have sort of thought about. White card base. to start off with. I like doing white card biases. Now, if you remember a little while ago, I did this sort of variegated background. I'm not going to show you how to do that now, but if you look back on some of my previous videos, you will see how I've done that. It's got a bit of sparkle and things in. I am going to use this at the moment because obviously I will cut the other piece out of it, but I'm going to put that down in the centre. You can see that it is not going to show whatever you've cut it out of it. You're not going to see it on there. So I'm going to put that down like that. Then we can have our little flower just up there like that. Then we can have our two little leaves. So we'll have a leaf like that, and we'll have a leaf, I can bring it down a bit, and a leaf like this. As I say, I'm not going to stick it all down for you. This is just to give you the idea, because sticking down we all know how to do. And sentiment wise, we have got some lovely nested, stitched labels dies. And so you can get them all in different sizes. I have shown a video on that, so have a look back. It was only a couple of days ago, so but I think that works quite nicely. Just pop that in like that. And then you've got that flower sitting up in the centre like that, which I'd put on with a dimensional. Now, to just add a little bit of extra to it, if you wanted the centre of your flower to just be a little bit sparkly like the background of this, then just use a little bit of wink of Stella. Now, this is probably not quite dried off enough, because once it's completely dried, you can put the wink of Stella over the top and it doesn't sort of bleed. But hopefully when that dries, you would be able to see it a little bit better. But that gives you the lovely centre. So a nice way of doing this beautiful flower, and these gorgeous, gorgeous new punch, the Perennial Flower, which obviously goes with the floral, let me get it out again, the floral essence. So one to look out for in the new catalogue. Want a catalogue? Leave me a note. I will get one out in the post to you. I've just received, and I'm just sending mine out to my customers at the moment. So if you haven't got one, want to see what it's all about, just let me know. But as I say, a beautiful flower, with that lovely sort of white with the craft white ink, which I think looks absolutely beautiful. So thank you so much for watching me. Do look forward to seeing you again. Bye bye.